Have you ever stood at the edge of your life, watching it crumble, wondering why the foundation you trusted could not hold? That was my 2023. It broke me, shattered my illusions, my comfort, my plans. But as Alan Watts once said, to be broken is not a failure, it is a beginning. In 2023, I learned that breaking is not the end, it is the universe's way of saying, here lies the soil for growth. We cling to the idea of permanence, yet life whispers a deeper truth: everything flows, everything transforms. My pain, my struggles, they were not punishments. They were seeds. Have you ever stood at the edge of your life, watching it crumble, wondering why the foundation you trusted could not hold? That was my 2023. It broke me, shattered my illusions, my comfort, my plans. But as Alan Watts once said, to be broken is not a failure, it is a beginning. In the depths of that year, I found myself asking questions I had avoided for too long. Why was I holding on to things that no longer served me? Why did I resist change when life itself is constant change? It was in those questions that I began to uncover the truth: breaking is not the end, it is an invitation to rebuild. There's a peculiar thing about pain: it feels eternal when you're in it. Days blur together and the weight of it feels unshakable. But in reality, pain is not your enemy. It is a guide pointing out the cracks in your life that you've ignored. In 2023, I realized that the very things I was mourning were the same things I had outgrown. Relationships, habits, beliefs, they had served their purpose, but clinging to them was like trying to wear a coat 2 sizes too small. It wasn't that life was unfair, it was that I had been unwilling to let go. And so life in its infinite wisdom did it for me. It stripped away what I refused to release, leaving me raw, vulnerable, and exposed. At first I resented it. I blamed the world, the people around me, even myself. It's a natural reaction to seek someone or something to hold accountable for your pain. But over time I began to see the beauty in what had happened. The breaking was not life punishing me, it was life freeing me. Those moments of despair were not failures but turning points. They were opportunities to shed the old and make room for the new. When you're broken, you are forced to confront the truth of who you are, stripped of all the masks and facades. It's terrifying, but it's also liberating. For the first time, you can see clearly what truly matters. I came to understand that the universe doesn't break you to destroy you. It breaks you to rebuild you stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your true self. But this realization doesn't come immediately. It requires sitting with the discomfort, embracing the uncertainty, and trusting that there is a purpose to the pain. It's like a forest fire, devastating at first glance, but essential for new growth to take root. The destruction clears the way for something more vibrant and resilient to emerge. As the year went on, I began to notice the small shifts. I started to let go of the need to control everything, recognizing that control is an illusion. Life isn't something you can dominate or manipulate, it's something you flow with. The more I tried to fight against the currents, the more exhausted I became. But when I surrendered, when I allowed myself to trust the process, I found a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. It was as if the breaking had cracked open a door to a deeper understanding of life itself. I stopped asking, why is this happening to me, and started asking, what can I learn from this? Looking back, I can see that 2023 wasn't the year that broke me, it was the year that began to make me. It tore away the layers of who I thought I was, revealing the core of who I am meant to be. And while it was painful, it was also profoundly necessary. Because sometimes we have to be broken to see the light. Sometimes the most painful chapters of our lives are the very ones that prepare us for the most beautiful ones to come. 2024 was the year my eyes opened. It wasn't an instant awakening, a grand epiphany, or a moment of clarity that came all at once. It was a gradual unfolding, like a sunrise after the longest, darkest night. After the storms of 2023, I had expected relief to arrive quickly, as if life owed me peace for all the pain I had endured. But the truth is, clarity doesn't come as a reward for survival, it comes when you're ready to see. And in 2024, I finally was. At first, it wasn't easy to recognize. I spent months looking outward, searching for something to fix what had broken. I thought the answers were out there in a new plan, a fresh start, or the approval of others. I thought clarity would come from solving the puzzle of my life. But clarity doesn't come from fixing, it comes from surrendering. It was only when I stopped searching and started sitting with myself, really sitting with the discomfort, the uncertainty, the quiet, that I began to see. The things I had been chasing weren't the solution, they were the distraction. The answer was never out there, it was always within. One of the most powerful lessons I learned in 2024 was that life is not something to conquer. For so long I had treated life like a battle to be won, a series of challenges to overcome. But in that mindset I was always at war with circumstances, with others, with myself. Awakening came when I realized that life isn't a fight, it's a flow. And when you try to fight the flow, you only create resistance. The harder you push, the harder life pushes back. But when you align with the current, when you trust its direction, life becomes less of a struggle and more of a dance. This shift in perspective wasn't about giving up, it was about letting go. Letting go of the illusion that I could control everything. Letting go of the belief that my worth was tied to my achievements or the approval of others. And letting go of the fear that I wasn't enough. These realizations didn't come easily. They came through moments of discomfort, moments where I had to face myself in ways I never had before. But in those moments I began to understand that awakening isn't about adding more to your life, it's about stripping away what no longer serves you. In 2024 I also learned the value of stillness. We live in a world that celebrates action, productivity, and constant motion. But sometimes the most profound growth happens in the stillness, in the moments where you allow yourself to simply be. I stopped running from the silence, stopped filling every empty space with noise. In the stillness I found clarity. I found myself. I saw that I had spent so much of my life trying to be what I thought the world wanted me to be, rather than who I truly was. And in seeing that, I began to reclaim my power. Awakening doesn't mean that life suddenly becomes easy. Challenges still arise, pain still comes, but the way you approach them changes. When your eyes are open, you see life for what it truly is, a series of moments, each one an opportunity to grow, to learn, to love. You stop clinging to what you think should be and start embracing what is. You realize that the things you thought you needed to be happy, success, validation, perfection, were never the source of happiness to begin with. 2024 taught me that clarity is not about answers, it's about vision. It's about seeing the beauty in the messiness of life, the lessons in the struggles, the possibilities in the unknown. It's about understanding that the light isn't something you find, it's something you create. My eyes opened not to a perfect life, but to a life that was perfectly imperfect, and that was enough. As I step into 2025, I feel an energy I haven't felt in years, a quiet, steady resolve that whispers, "This is your time, but make no mistake, I am not returning to what was." This is not about bouncing back to some old version of myself or reclaiming a life that's already behind me. 2025 is not about going back, it's about going forward. It's about rising stronger and wiser and creating something entirely new. I am not coming back to prove anything to anyone. I am coming back to see just how far I can go. What I've realized is that a comeback is not an external event. It's not about flashy achievements or applause from the world. It's something deeply internal, a reclamation of your power, your purpose, your joy. 2023 broke me and 2024 opened my eyes, but 2025 is where I begin to build not on the shaky foundations of who I was, but on the solid ground of who I have become. Every piece of me that was tested, every crack that seemed like a flaw, has now become a part of the structure I am creating. This isn't about perfection, it's about authenticity. In 2025, I am embracing action, not reckless, frantic action, but intentional steps forward. I've spent too much of my life waiting for the perfect moment, the right conditions, the guarantee that everything would work out. But life doesn't offer guarantees, and waiting for perfection only keeps you stuck. What I've learned is that movement itself creates momentum. The first step might feel small, but it's not about the size of the step, it's about the direction. Each action, no matter how tiny, sends a signal to the universe and to yourself that you are ready to move forward. This year I am not chasing success for the sake of success. I am redefining what success means to me. It's not about ticking boxes or meeting someone else's expectations. It's about alignment, about living a life that feels true to who I am. Success is no longer a destination, it's a feeling, a state of being. It's waking up in the morning with a sense of purpose and going to bed with a sense of peace. It's finding joy in the process, not just the outcome. 2025 is also a year of courage. Not the kind of courage that looks bold and fearless from the outside, but the quieter kind, the courage to show up, to try, to risk failure. It takes courage to leave behind what is familiar, even when it no longer serves you. It takes courage to dream again after disappointment, to believe in possibilities when the world has shown you its harshest realities. And it takes courage to be vulnerable, to let others see the real you, to connect in a way that is genuine and unguarded. I am not naive about the road ahead. There will still be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But I am no longer afraid of those moments. I have come to understand that they are not barriers to my growth, they are a part of it. Each obstacle is a lesson, each detour an opportunity to see things from a new perspective. The path may not always be straight, but that doesn't mean it's not leading me where I need to go. One of the most profound shifts in my mindset has been recognizing that the comeback is not about external validation. It's not about proving the doubters wrong or earning applause. It's about proving something to myself, that I am capable, that I am resilient, that I am enough. The real victory isn't in the destination, it's in the journey. It's in the willingness to rise again and again, no matter how many times you've been knocked down. 2025 is my canvas, and I am holding the brush. I am painting not with fear of mistakes, but with the boldness of someone who knows that the most beautiful masterpieces are often born from the messiest strokes. This is not just a comeback, it's a rebirth. It's a declaration to myself and to the world that I am here, that I am alive, and that I am ready to create something extraordinary. This is my year not to return, but to rise. The illusion of control is one of the hardest things to let go of, but once you do, it changes everything. For so long I believed that if I planned carefully enough, worked hard enough, and stayed disciplined enough, I could steer life exactly where I wanted it to go. I thought control was the key to stability and success. But life doesn't follow our carefully drawn maps. It unfolds in ways we can never fully predict or manage, and trying to control it only creates frustration and resistance. Letting go of the illusion of control wasn't an act of defeat, it was an act of liberation. There's a kind of freedom in understanding that control is not the same as power. Real power comes from adaptability, from being able to move with life instead of against it. Imagine standing in a river, trying to stop the current with your hands. No matter how strong you are, you'll never succeed. The water will push past you, relentless and unyielding. But if you stop fighting and instead learn to swim with the current, you find yourself moving effortlessly. That's what letting go feels like, not giving up, but choosing a different way to engage with life. I used to think that surrender meant weakness, that it was a sign of failure to let life take its course. But surrender is not passive. It's active trust, a trust in yourself, in your ability to adapt, and in the flow of life itself. When you let go of the need to control, you make space for possibilities you couldn't have imagined. The universe operates in ways far more intricate and beautiful than anything we could plan, but we can only experience that beauty if we release our grip. Letting go also taught me to stop blaming myself for things outside my control. When life didn't go as planned, I used to feel like it was my fault, as if I should have been smarter, faster, better. But that kind of thinking is a trap. It's not your job to control every outcome. It's your job to show up, to do your best, and to trust that whatever happens is part of your journey. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring or trying. It means you stop punishing yourself for things you were never meant to control in the first place. This realization also changed the way I see failure. When you let go of control, failure stops being something to fear. It becomes something to learn from. Every misstep, every setback is a lesson, a chance to grow stronger, to refine your approach, to deepen your understanding of yourself and the world around you. Failure is not an endpoint, it's a stepping stone. When you embrace this mindset, you stop seeing life as a series of win or lose moments and start seeing it as a continuous process of becoming. The illusion of control often keeps us stuck because we're afraid of the unknown. We want certainty, guarantees, and assurances that everything will work out. But the truth is, the unknown is where life happens. It's where growth occurs, where opportunities arise, where transformation takes place. Letting go of control means embracing uncertainty not as something to fear, but as something to explore. It means being open to whatever comes, trusting that you have the strength and wisdom to handle it. One of the most surprising things I've learned is that letting go actually brings a deeper sense of peace. When you stop trying to control everything, you free yourself from the constant anxiety of what if. You stop overthinking every decision, second-guessing every step, and obsessing over every outcome. Instead, you start to trust in the flow of life. You start to believe that things will work out not always in the way you expect, but in the way they're meant to. And in that trust, you find calm. This doesn't mean life becomes easy or that challenges disappear. But when you let go of the illusion of control, you stop adding unnecessary weight to those challenges. You start to see them as natural parts of the journey rather than personal failures. You find strength in your ability to adapt, resilience in your ability to rise, and joy in the freedom to live fully, without the need to control every detail. Letting go doesn't mean losing yourself, it means finding a deeper, truer version of yourself, one that is aligned with the rhythm of life. The journey is where the magic happens. For so much of my life, I thought the destination was everything. I believed happiness, success, and fulfillment would only come once I reached a certain goal or milestone. It was always about the next achievement, the next big moment, the next step on the ladder. But the more I chased the destination, the more I realized how fleeting it was. Every time I reached a goal, the satisfaction was temporary. Almost immediately, I found myself setting a new target, thinking maybe this next one will be the one that brings me true happiness. It never did. What I failed to understand back then was that the joy, the growth, the beauty, they don't come from crossing the finish line. They come from everything that happens along the way. The setbacks, the breakthroughs, the small victories, the lessons learned, the people you meet, the person you become, these are the things that truly matter. The destination is just a marker, a point in time. The journey is the experience that shapes you. When I finally let go of the idea that I needed to arrive somewhere to feel whole, everything changed. I stopped living in the future, constantly anticipating what was next, and started living in the present. I began to notice the small, quiet moments I had overlooked before, the way the sunlight filtered through the trees, the sound of laughter with friends, the sense of accomplishment in a single, meaningful step forward. These moments weren't just filler on the way to something bigger. They were the something bigger. It's easy to get caught up in the illusion that life is a series of endpoints. Society reinforces this idea constantly. Graduate from school, get the job, buy the house, achieve the promotion, find the partner, have the family, retire, and then finally enjoy life. But what happens when you reach one of those endpoints and realize it doesn't feel the way you thought it would? That it doesn't magically solve all your problems or make you feel complete. The truth is, those endpoints are just moments in a much larger, ongoing journey. They are not the purpose of life, they are milestones within it. When you focus solely on the destination, you miss the richness of the process. You miss the lessons hidden in the struggles, the joy in the small wins, the connections with others who are walking their own paths alongside you. The journey is where you discover your strength, your resilience, your creativity. It's where you learn to adapt, to persevere, to celebrate progress, even when the finish line feels far away. It's where you come to understand that the real reward is not in what you achieve, but in who you become along the way. Of course, having goals is important. They give you direction and purpose. But goals are not meant to define your worth or dictate your happiness. They are meant to inspire you, to challenge you, to guide you forward. When you stop seeing them as the ultimate measure of success, you free yourself to enjoy the path you're walking. You start to appreciate the twists and turns, the detours and surprises, the moments that remind you why you started in the first place. The journey teaches you patience. It shows you that growth takes time and that progress is rarely linear. There will be setbacks, obstacles, and moments of doubt, but these are not signs of failure. They are part of the process. Every step, even the difficult ones, is a step forward. And when you embrace the journey, you begin to see challenges not as barriers, but as opportunities to grow. You start to value the process of becoming over the idea of arriving. Perhaps the most profound lesson of the journey is this: life is not a single destination you eventually reach. It's a continuous flow of experiences, each one building on the last. The more you try to rush to the end, the more you miss the beauty of the now. When you slow down, when you stop measuring your worth by how far you've gone or how close you are to the finish, you realize that everything you've been looking for has been right here all along, in the steps you've taken, in the moments you've lived, in the journey itself. So as I step into this next chapter, I no longer see life as a series of goals to conquer or destinations to reach. I see it as an adventure to embrace. The journey is not just a path to the future, it is the present. It is where life happens, where meaning is found, and where joy is created. And that, I've come to realize, is enough. Imagine a world where everything is still: no buzzing phones, no demanding schedules, just you and the hum of existence. That's the power of 4 a.m. It's a time when the world sleeps, but your soul awakens. In this quiet hour, the universe hands you an invitation, not just to wake up, but to truly lock in, to align with your purpose. The quiet power of 4 a.m. is unlike any other time of day. It holds a certain mystique, a hush that feels like the world has paused just for you. At this hour, there are no distractions clamoring for your attention, no demands pulling you in different directions. The noise of the world fades, and what remains is the sound of your own thoughts, clearer and sharper than they ever seemed to be. In this rare silence, there's an extraordinary opportunity, not just to get ahead of the day, but to connect with something deeper, something raw and real within yourself. There's a reason so many of the world's great thinkers, creators, and dreamers talk about the magic of these early hours. It's not simply about productivity or beating the sunrise, it's about the unique energy that 4 a.m. carries. There's a calmness to it, a sense of timelessness where you can feel untethered from the usual constraints of schedules, clocks, or expectations. In that moment, it feels as if the world belongs only to you. It's as if the universe has deliberately designed this pocket of time for reflection, for clarity, for reinvention. At 4 a.m. there's no room for pretense. You're stripped of the masks you wear during the day. You're not your job title, your obligations, or the version of yourself you present to others. You are simply you, raw, honest, and open. And in that state there's power. It's a moment to confront your deepest thoughts, your hidden desires, and even your fears. In the stillness of this hour, the boundaries between you and your potential blur. You begin to realize that the only limits are the ones you impose on yourself. But it's not just about introspection. 4 a.m. also has a unique momentum to it, a kind of head start on the day that feels almost sacred. When you rise at this hour, it's not just about getting ahead, it's about choosing to engage with the day on your terms. It's about stepping into your own rhythm before the world imposes its tempo on you. There's a quiet confidence that comes from starting the day with intention, from deciding that this hour is yours and yours alone. And yet there's a paradox to 4 a.m. It's both fleeting and eternal. The minutes tick by just as they do during any other hour, but somehow they feel more significant. Perhaps it's because time feels different when you're fully present, when you're not distracted by the noise of the world. At 4 a.m. you're reminded that time is not the enemy, it's a gift. And in this gift lies the potential to shape your life, one deliberate moment at a time. Some people might see 4 a.m. as a sacrifice, a time when you're giving up sleep or comfort. But those who've experienced its power know it's the opposite. It's an investment. It's a time when you gain clarity, focus, and a sense of purpose that carries you through the rest of the day. It's in these moments of solitude that some of the most profound breakthroughs happen, not because you're forcing them, but because the stillness allows them to emerge naturally. What makes 4 a.m. so special isn't just the absence of noise or the extra time it gives you, it's the mindset it fosters. Rising at this hour is a statement. It's a declaration that you're willing to do what others won't, to step into the discomfort of discipline because you understand the freedom it brings. It's about choosing growth over ease, presence over distraction, and intention over routine. It's about locking in, not just to your goals, but to the person you're becoming. So when the world tells you to stay in bed, to take the easy path, to wait until later, remember the quiet power of 4 a.m. Remember that this is the hour when the world is silent, but your soul speaks the loudest. And in that silence, you'll find the answers you've been searching for, waiting for you to wake up and listen. Locking in is more than a phrase, it's a way of being. It's the moment you decide to step fully into your purpose, shedding the distractions and excuses that often hold you back. To lock in is to commit not halfway, not tentatively, but with your whole being. It's a choice to align your energy, focus, and intention with what truly matters. And while it sounds simple, it's a transformative act, one that requires courage, discipline, and presence. When you lock in, you're not just making a promise to yourself, you're forging a connection with the flow of life itself. It's as if you're stepping into a current, where every thought and action begins to align with your greater purpose. There's a momentum to this state, a rhythm that feels almost otherworldly. Tasks that once felt daunting become manageable. Doubts that once held you back fade into the background. In this state of flow, you're not just working, you're creating, building, evolving. But locking in isn't something that happens by chance. It requires intention. It demands that you show up, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. It's about removing the noise, the distractions, the doubts, the unnecessary clutter, and honing in on what truly matters. It's about making space for what's essential, clearing out the trivial, and focusing your energy on what moves you forward. This clarity doesn't come easy, but it's worth the effort. The act of locking in often begins with discomfort. It's not always easy to tune out the distractions, to say no to the countless things vying for your attention. It requires discipline, a willingness to sit with the uncomfortable and push through it. But in that discomfort lies the gateway to growth. Because when you choose to lock in, you're not just committing to the task at hand, you're committing to your own evolution. You're choosing to become the kind of person who doesn't waver, who doesn't back down, who stays focused no matter what. Locking in is also an act of trust. It's about trusting yourself to rise to the challenge, to do the work, to stay the course even when it's difficult. It's about trusting the process, believing that the small, consistent actions you take today will add up to something far greater over time. And it's about trusting the moment, knowing that the present is where your power lies, not in the past, not in the future, but right here, right now. When you truly lock in, you begin to notice something profound. The more you align with your purpose, the more the world seems to align with you. Opportunities arise, ideas flow, and things that once felt impossible start to feel within reach. This isn't magic, it's the natural result of focus and intention. When you give your energy to what matters, the universe responds in kind. But locking in isn't just about achieving goals or chasing success. It's about becoming more present, more engaged, more alive. It's about experiencing life in its fullest, most vibrant form. When you're locked in, you're not just going through the motions, you're living deliberately. Every moment becomes an opportunity to grow, to learn, to create, to connect. There's a beauty in this state, a kind of quiet power that comes from knowing you're exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do. It's not always glamorous. Sometimes it's messy, exhausting, even frustrating. But it's real, and it's meaningful. And at the end of the day, that's what matters most, not perfection, but progress. And to lock in is to choose yourself, your dreams, your potential. It's a reminder that you are capable of more than you realize, that the only limits are the ones you accept. So when the distractions come, when the doubts creep in, when the world tries to pull you off course, remember your why. Remember what you're working toward, who you're becoming, and why it matters. And then lock in. Fully. Unapologetically. With everything you've got. Because this is your moment, and it's yours for the taking. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many see it as a form of restriction, a cage that confines and limits. But in reality, discipline is the opposite. It's a kind of freedom. It's the structure that allows you to break free from chaos, the tool that empowers you to build the life you envision. Without discipline, dreams remain just that, dreams. But with it, those dreams can become tangible, real, something you can hold in your hands and live every day. The beauty of discipline lies in its consistency. It doesn't rely on fleeting motivation or temporary inspiration. Those things come and go like the wind shifting directions. Discipline, however, is steady. It's the quiet decision you make every day, sometimes every hour, to show up and do the work, no matter how you feel. It's the realization that success, whether in art, business, relationships, or personal growth, is not built on grand gestures, but on small, deliberate actions repeated over time. When you embrace discipline, you're taking control of your life. You're no longer at the mercy of distractions, doubts, or external circumstances. Instead, you're driving the car, charting the course, deciding where you want to go and how you're going to get there. It's empowering because it shifts the narrative from "I hope this works out" to "I'm making this happen." But discipline is not about perfection. It's not about never slipping up or always getting it right. It's about persistence. It's about picking yourself up after a setback and continuing to move forward. Discipline doesn't demand that you never fail, it asks that you don't quit. There's a profound strength in this kind of resilience, a strength that grows each time you choose to stay the course, even when it's hard. One of the most liberating truths about discipline is that it simplifies life. When you're disciplined, you don't waste energy on indecision or regret. You don't spend hours debating whether or not to do something. You just do it because it's part of the plan, part of the commitment you've made to yourself. This clarity frees up mental and emotional space for creativity, focus, and joy. You're no longer weighed down by the chaos of an unstructured life. Instead, you move with purpose, with intention. And while discipline often begins with external actions, waking up early, sticking to a routine, setting boundaries, it eventually becomes internal. It's no longer just about what you do, it's about who you are. A disciplined person doesn't need to rely on external rules because they've internalized the principles that guide their actions. They don't need someone else to hold them accountable because they hold themselves accountable. This shift is transformative. It's when discipline moves from being a practice to being a part of your identity. Discipline is also deeply connected to freedom because it gives you the ability to choose. Without discipline, you're at the mercy of your impulses, habits, and circumstances. But with it, you can decide what kind of life you want to live and take the steps to create it. Discipline doesn't eliminate choice, it enhances it. By building discipline, you open doors to opportunities and possibilities that would otherwise remain closed. There's an undeniable satisfaction that comes from discipline. It's the satisfaction of knowing you've done the work, that you've earned your progress, that you're moving closer to your goals. It's the quiet pride of looking back at the end of the day and knowing you gave it your all. This kind of fulfillment is not something you can buy or fake, it's something you create moment by moment, decision by decision. Discipline is not a punishment, it's a gift you give to yourself. It's the foundation on which you build your dreams, the bridge that carries you from where you are to where you want to be. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. And the best part, discipline is something anyone can cultivate. It doesn't require special talent, resources, or circumstances. All it takes is a decision, the decision to start, to keep going, and to trust that the effort will pay off. In the end, discipline is not about restriction, it's about liberation. It's about unlocking your potential, living with intention, and creating a life that reflects your deepest values and aspirations. And when you embrace discipline, you discover something profound, the freedom to be your best self every single day. Time is one of the most intriguing paradoxes we experience. On one hand, it feels limited, slipping through our fingers like grains of sand. On the other, it holds infinite potential, capable of expanding in ways that defy our understanding when we're fully present in the moment. The hours between 4 a.m. and dawn seem to amplify this paradox. In their stillness, they feel both fleeting and eternal, a reminder that while we measure time in minutes, we experience it in moments. At its core, time is a constructed way to organize our lives and make sense of the world. Yet we often let it dictate our actions, govern our decisions, and even shape our identities. We say things like, "I don't have enough time," or "It's too late for me," as if time is a barrier we can't overcome. But the truth is, time is not our enemy, it's a canvas. Every minute offers us the chance to create something meaningful, to start fresh, or to simply be. The hours that feel the most infinite are often the quietest. At 4 a.m., when the world is still, time slows down. There's no rush, no noise, no competing demands. It's just you and the moment, pure and unfiltered. This is when time reveals its true nature, not as something that controls us, but as something we can shape. In these early hours, there's a sense of possibility, as if the universe is offering you a blank slate. The day hasn't fully begun, and yet you can already feel its potential unfolding before you. Being present in the moment is the key to unlocking the timelessness of time. When you're truly present, you're no longer bound by the past or worried about the future. You're not counting the minutes or wishing they'd pass faster. Instead, you're fully immersed in what you're doing, feeling, or experiencing. In this state, time seems to expand, allowing you to accomplish more, feel deeper, and connect with yourself and the world in ways that are often elusive during the busyness of the day. This is why 4 a.m. holds such power. It's a time when distractions are minimal and presence feels natural. There's no rush to get somewhere, no urgency to meet deadlines or answer calls. In this quiet, you can hear the things you often miss: the rhythm of your breath, the subtle hum of your thoughts, the whispers of ideas waiting to be born. It's a time to recalibrate, to realign with your purpose, and to remind yourself of what truly matters. But the timelessness of time isn't just about productivity or reflection, it's about experiencing life in its fullness. Too often we treat time as a commodity, something to be spent, saved, or wasted. We divide it into blocks and assign it tasks, forgetting that it's not just a tool for achieving goals, it's the very fabric of our lives. Each moment, no matter how small, is an opportunity to connect with something deeper, a sense of wonder, a feeling of gratitude, or simply the joy of being alive. The early hours of the morning amplify this truth because they strip away the noise. They reveal the simplicity and beauty of just being. In this stillness, you're reminded that life is not a race or a series of deadlines. It's a collection of moments, each one offering you a chance to engage, to grow, to feel. And when you approach time with this mindset, it no longer feels like something to fight against. Instead, it becomes a partner, a collaborator in the creation of your life. Even as time moves forward, it carries with it the echoes of the present. The choices you make in one moment ripple into the next, shaping the trajectory of your days, weeks, and years. This is why the hours like 4 a.m. matter so much, not because of the productivity they offer, but because of the clarity they bring. They allow you to set the tone for your day, to choose the kind of energy you want to carry with you, and to anchor yourself in what truly matters. Time, then, is not something to be feared or controlled. It's a gift, a reminder of life's impermanence and its infinite potential. The stillness of early morning reminds us that we don't have to wait for the right time to start living fully. Every moment is the right time. Every moment is an opportunity to embrace the present, to lock in to what's meaningful, and to create a life that reflects your deepest truths. And as the sun rises and the world stirs awake, the timelessness of 4 a.m. carries forward. It stays with you, a quiet reminder that no matter how busy life gets, the power of the present moment is always within your reach. The time is not slipping away, it's waiting for you to notice it, to embrace it, and to live it fully. The journey to transformation is one we all share, though the paths we take are uniquely our own. It's a journey marked by moments of doubt, struggle, and triumph, woven together by the choices we make along the way. And while it often feels like a solitary endeavor, there's a universality to it, a thread that connects every person who has ever sought to grow, to change, to become something more. It's a reminder that no matter where you are or what you're facing, you're never truly alone in your pursuit of a better self. At 4 a.m., this universality becomes strikingly clear. There's a quiet solidarity in knowing that while the world sleeps, countless others are also awake, working, thinking, dreaming, and striving. Some are training their bodies for greatness, others are pouring their souls into their art, and still others are simply sitting with their thoughts, seeking clarity or peace. This shared experience is invisible yet profound, a testament to the human spirit and its endless capacity for growth. The solitude of 4 a.m. is paradoxically unifying. In those moments of quiet introspection, you're reminded of the millions of people who have stood where you are at the threshold of change, facing their fears and taking the first step toward something new. It's humbling and empowering all at once. You're part of a vast, unseen network of dreamers and doers, each working in their own way to create a life of meaning and purpose. This connection is not just comforting, it's inspiring. It reminds you that the challenges you face are not insurmountable, that the doubts you feel are not unique to you. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has wrestled with uncertainty, with moments when the path forward seemed unclear or impossible. But they kept going, and so can you. The shared journey of transformation is a testament to resilience, to the human capacity to endure, adapt, and overcome. And yet the journey is deeply personal. No one else can walk your path for you. No one else can make the choices, take the risks, or face the fears that are uniquely yours. This is both the beauty and the challenge of transformation. It requires you to take ownership of your life, to step into the unknown with courage and conviction. It's not about following someone else's blueprint or comparing yourself to others. It's about discovering what truly matters to you and pursuing it with everything you've got. The universality of the journey doesn't diminish its individuality, it enhances it. It reminds you that while your path is your own, the struggles and triumphs you experience are part of something greater. Every step you take, no matter how small, adds to the collective story of human progress and possibility. And in this way, your journey becomes a contribution not just to your own growth, but to the world around you. There's a profound sense of purpose that comes from recognizing this. It shifts your perspective from one of isolation to one of connection, from feeling alone in your struggles to understanding that you're part of a shared human experience. This awareness doesn't make the challenges any easier, but it gives them context. It helps you see that the effort you put in, the sacrifices you make, and the persistence you show are part of something bigger than yourself. At its core, the universality of the journey is a reminder of our shared humanity. It's a call to empathy, to compassion, to understanding. When you realize that everyone is fighting their own battles, working toward their own dreams, and navigating their own challenges, it becomes easier to extend grace to others and to yourself. It's a reminder that perfection is not the goal, progress is. So, as you stand at your own crossroads, remember that you're not alone. Remember that the doubts, fears, and setbacks you face are part of the process, not signs that you're failing. And remember that every small step forward, every act of courage, every moment of effort adds to the collective journey we all share. The road to transformation is not always easy, but it's always worth it. And as you walk it, take comfort in the knowledge that you're part of a vast, interconnected web of people striving, growing, and becoming. The journey may be yours, but its significance extends far beyond you. It's a testament to what's possible, a celebration of the human spirit, and a reminder that together we are capable of extraordinary things.